Greetings and welcome to Connecting with Intent Show. I'm your host Muhammad Awais. On this episode, we have a very special guest. She is the leadership development coach, speaker, number one best-selling author, and CEO Whisperer, Dr. Teri Baydar. Please join me to give a warm welcome to our guest, Dr. Teri Baydar. Dr. Teri, welcome.
Thank you for having me.
Let me start with this. Where were you? What happened? Who were you surrounded with that inspired you to do what you do today?
Many things happened, actually. But I think mostly it's through my life getting hurt or experiencing losses or failures, perceived failures, finding myself different from other people. Many of these, I guess you'd call them negative experiences, made me understand the importance of my own personal development, what it means to be a leader, and how to do this kind of work from the inside out.
Thank you for sharing your story. What is your higher purpose in life?
I guess my main purpose in life really is to teach what I call love consciousness. I've come to an understanding around love consciousness and the type of consciousness that it is that we're all kind of leaning towards, but getting distracted from this higher level of way of being. And so I've just come to lean into that as my calling. It's really my calling to do this, to not just elevate myself, but to elevate the people that I come into contact with. And again, it kind of comes back to why I'm a leadership coach, why I've written a book as well, why I've done everything that I've done at this point in my life is to just really elevate people and myself included, obviously.
That's a powerful purpose. What have been top three greatest challenges that you have had to overcome?
Um, I guess it's all around finding a place. I mean, when you go around talking about consciousness, right? I'm not talking about money. Everybody wants to talk about money. I'm not talking about money. I'm talking about consciousness. And so finding a place is difficult. And so that's really a great challenge for me is finding the audience, the niche, the people that actually want to have the conversations that I want to have. I think also going it alone, knowing that there are times you're going to go it alone and you have to be okay with that because you're on your path, you're following your internal calling and your reason for being here, whatever reason you incarnated, and that you have to lean into that. And that means being alone in some sense. And again, I suppose part of the three would be like the lack of exterior validation. You might be invisible to a lot of people. You might find that nobody really cares what you're up to and that you still have to move forward and you need to do it, from that internal place. And so I hit this on a daily basis of knowing that I'm probably invisible to a lot of people, that I got to do it alone, and I need to find the place where I fit.
What is your greatest failure story? What did you learn and how did you recover from it?
Um, I think my greatest failure story was also maybe my greatest success. And I think that happens to a lot of people because, the aftermath is what we call post traumatic growth. And couple of things that happened. I mean, I became very invested in a particular group of people in a martial arts studio. And I was very into martial arts. I was very, into the spiritual aspect, the personal development aspect, the energy aspect, everything, internal martial arts, external martial arts, all of that. And I invested for several years into that and did everything that I was told to, worked really hard, to actually fit. I thought I had a place there. And I learned that that they actually didn't like me, and not because I was a bad person or that I was doing anything wrong, but because I was different. I was different from them. I mean, it was obviously very masculine. It was, very yang. I'm very yin. And in all of that, I just that they didn't like me and they were mean to me. And in the end, they finally just told me to leave. We don't want you here. We don't like you. Go away. And at that point in time, I didn't understand the concept of war consciousness. And war consciousness is necessary to understand love consciousness. War consciousness is the duality mindset of excluding people, self and others, capturing people, controlling people, using, abusing, disposing of people. Love consciousness is including people, connecting with people, coming together. Together we're better, all that stuff. And I lived in one space of love consciousness and they lived in war consciousness, but I didn't have the awareness of this war consciousness that they were living in or how it affects the world, because I was living my own life according to my spiritual calling. And in that, I it was my greatest success because I was able to I guess suffer from the war consciousness that was, put upon me. And the recovery process was really post-traumatic growth where I could see such a bigger picture and I could understand these people who lived in a place of anger and hate for other people, for things that are different from them, and not become like them, but to having been a kind of their victim. I don't consider myself a victim, but having been the object of their hate, understanding it.
Well, what is the most impactful book you have read and what did you learn from it?
So there's a book called the Master and His Emissary. It was written by Ian McGilchrist, who is uh, a psychiatrist, psychologist. He's British, and it's been around for a long time. And in my study and in writing my book, I came to understand how sort of you have this war consciousness that inhabits the left brain, and if you spin around in that space, and how love consciousness tends to inhabit the right brain. And he goes into in depth the psychological and psychiatric aspects and the brain function aspects of this. And I'm coming from a spiritual background, understanding the consciousness aspect of it. And everything he says totally correlates with everything I have discovered in my own journey. And I still read and reread this book because it adds the, physical manifested uh, material aspect of our brain functions to what happens in all good spiritual traditions. And I'm like, whoa, this is so amazing. So I still am in awe of the work that he has done. And basically, because it correlates with my work and my personal experience of evolving into love consciousness.
What are your goals for the next 12 months?
Well, for the next 12 months, I have decided that I'm going to teach more, do more mentoring. I do a lot of one on one coaching, which is great. But I really want to take love consciousness to a different level and put it out in the world that in a way that more people can have access to it, understand it, embrace it, lean into it, because people heal in love consciousness, and we're very hurt and we're very broken in our world today, and systems can be love conscious or war conscious, and we have many systems that also need healing, businesses, organizations, groups, communities. There's a lot of healing that needs to happen. So I really want to go teach more in bigger arenas to help people understand that they have a choice.
What advice you will give to younger yourself?
I would tell my younger self that nothing really matters. Like being pretty, being popular, um, trying to win, like out there. Exterior validation is never gonna make you feel full. Look to be fulfilled. Don't try to be such an achiever. Just try to be whole and healthy, and live the life that was given to you.
That's a great advice. How can we support you?
You can go to Love Conscious Human and reach out to me. I have a newsletter on LinkedIn that's called Love Conscious Leadership, and find me on LinkedIn or find Love Conscious Human and interact. I'm always available to have conversations with lovely people like you, Mohammed, and very very happy to be here. And this is great too, the way you're supporting me in this.
What would you say about your guest appearance on the show?
Well, basically, what I was just saying is like, yeah, thank you for supporting me and being, so using your gifts to support so many people is really a very generous and love conscious thing to be doing in the world. And I appreciate it very much. And I do really appreciate the nature of your show, the intent show. I think it's very valuable.
Thank you so much for your kind words. I really appreciate you for this. What closing thoughts would you like to share with our listeners?
Um, I guess I would kind of say what I would say to my younger self: relationships, connections, fulfillment, all of those things matter way, way more than the ideas of achievement or chasing the next thing. The next thing is not going to make you happy. Sometimes we need things in this material world, but most of the time we want more than we need, and that gets in our way. It gets in our way for actual fulfillment and happiness, relationships, connections, fulfillments. Let go of the other stuff. Be with people.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Dr. Tari, for sharing your wisdom with us today on the behalf of Connecting with Intent community and our entire team. We really appreciate you. This is Muhammad Awais. Until the next episode, all good wishes.
Thank you.